The winters are miserable. The economy isn't exactly thriving. The crime rates are pretty bad and there aren't a ton of job opportunities. So let's cut to the chase.
Nobody wants to live in upstate New York. And I get it.
Even though I've had the opportunity to live and work in some pretty cool places, somehow I ended up here. But honestly, I genuinely love living here. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons and what it's actually like to live in upstate New York. Specifically the capital region, but also some of the better upstate gems. I'll do my best to be as unbiased as possible, but if I mess something up or you have a question, drop it in the comments. Okay, so upstate New York, let's go. Winters here are absolutely brutal. When you're in it, it feels like it will never end. You truly cannot imagine yourself ever wearing shorts again. It's cold, it's gray. At some point, there'll be a huge storm and there will be so much snow and ice that you are outside trying to shovel your car out for what feels like hours. We almost always get at least one snowstorm in the month of April. To be fair, there is great skiing and snowboarding nearby. Shout out to Gore, Whiteface, and even Killington. But if you're not into winter sports, yeah, you're gonna suffer a little bit. Now, on the flip side, affordability. I bought my house in 2021 for $200K.
6 a.m. heading to the house to get some work done.
It's a multi-family, so I rent out the top unit and I end up owing less than $500 a month on my mortgage, which is pretty nice. It's given me a ton of financial freedom. I can actually breathe because I'm not living paycheck to paycheck like so many young people have to do in big cities. And since I bought my house, yes, the prices have gone up quite a bit, just like they have everywhere. I think in 2024, the median price of a house in Albany sold for around $300K, but that's still way below the national average. And rent is pretty affordable too. Average rent's around $1,500 in this area. You tend to get more space for that too. I will say the houses are mostly older, so there's not a ton of new housing construction. So think like charming with creaky floors, and not modern open concept houses. So if you want a cute fixer-upper with character, then this is your place. I don't know what to say. Public transit here we've got CDTA buses. They exist, but this isn't New York City. You're gonna need a car. Everything is pretty spread out, especially once you leave the core cities. But the silver lining is that you can hop on an Amtrak train and be in New York City in about 2.5 hours, which is pretty cool. But from day to day, yeah, it'll be you in your car inhaling a bagel. Okay. Location-wise, this is a really convenient area to live. If you do have a car, it only takes about an hour to drive to the Catskills, 2 to the Adirondacks, I think like 2.5 hours to New York City, and then 3 hours to Boston or Burlington, and then Montreal is not much further than that. It's a hub and we have a lot of cities nearby, but it's not hectic and trafficy here. Even just within upstate New York, there's some cool cities and tourism here. Saratoga is a huge tourist destination in the summer because of the racetrack, so they have a lot of cute restaurants. Hudson is very cute and artsy, lots of cool galleries and antiques shops. And then I really like Woodstock too. It's got like a nice hippie vibe with lots of fresh, healthy food. If you love the outdoors, welcome home. Upstate is basically a playground for outdoorsy people. You don't even have to leave the cities to enjoy some really gorgeous parks. The Empire State Trail runs right through the capital region too, which is a over 700-mile bike trail that connects New York City to Albany and then veers west all the way out to Buffalo. You can bike, run, or walk it, and it links up with a lot of local parks and rail trails. And then there's the Adirondacks, the actual wilderness. This is the largest park in the entire country. That park is larger than Yellowstone, the Everglades, Glacier, and Grand Canyon National Parks combined. It's huge. And there are countless mountains in it, but mainly there are the 46 high peaks. And so a lot of people in the area make it a personal mission to climb all 46 and become a 46er. A couple years back, I climbed Marcy, which is the highest one, and it wrecked me. I had blisters underneath all 10 of my toes, and I had to wear flip-flops and limp around for 3 days after. But the view from the top, worth it. The food scene here is surprisingly good. There are so many international restaurants. We've got Thai, Ethiopian, Indian, Korean barbecue, vegan cafes, Italian bakeries.
This is a really good Reuben.
And let's not forget the local produce. We've got farms everywhere, basically. The Troy Farmers Market is insane. People drive for hours just to come hang out there. It is a whole Saturday event. Fresh veggies, flowers, sourdough, coffee, soap, there's everything. It's really fun.
Oh, that looks delicious.
Nightlife? Not so amazing. If you're looking to rage until 3 a.m., you will be disappointed. With the exception of maybe Caroline Street in Saratoga during the track season, which is chaos in a fun way, things here wind down way earlier than they would in a big city. There are some cool bars, breweries, and even wineries, but this is not Brooklyn. If you're in your 30s like me and you're cool with just getting a drink and then being home by 10 p.m., you're still gonna have fun. It's fine, really, it's fine. The art scene is probably a little lacking, I would say. We do have some cool music venues like SPAC, MVP Arena, the Palace Theater, Troy Music Hall. Those are all pretty popular. I like comedy, so I'll sometimes get tickets to go to the Funny Bone, which gets some good comedians, but don't expect Beyonce to stop here on her tour. We're definitely not getting Taylor Swift. We get a Taylor Swift tribute band. Don't get me wrong, we do get some good shows here. They're just not huge shows. But it does seem like the local arts and music scene is always growing. There's tons of cute little venues if you want to go to a smaller show too. This is probably the area that I get the most questions in because people have heard that it's really unsafe here for whatever reason, and I'll be honest, crime is definitely a concern in certain areas. Albany has had a lot of gang violence recently. Schenectady is not great. Troy has gotten better, I think. When I first moved to Troy, there was a popular game called Gunshots or Fireworks. There are definitely pockets of higher crime rates like any city, and so you have to be careful about which place you go to or live in. Do your homework, talk to locals, visit the area during the day and night if you're thinking of buying or renting. I feel like I'm pretty biased on this one, but in my opinion, the people are one of the biggest pros here. They're down to earth, they're fun, it's not a keeping up with the Joneses materialistic kind of thing. When I lived in California, I always felt like it was a little bit superficial and the people weren't as warm as I thought they would be. But here, I just really like the people. Like I said, down to earth, friendly. Neighbors will help you shovel in the winter, pick up your newspaper for you, look out for each other. It's a pretty welcoming area. Health culture here, meh, not so great. There are definitely some people who are into being healthy and active. There are lots of hikers here, but overall I would say the area is a little bit behind when it comes to more health conscious living. You're way more likely to see someone walking around with a Stewart's ice cream cone than a smoothie. For someone like me who cares about that kind of stuff, it is something I'm aware of, and it's not a huge deal about the area, but it is something to kind of be aware of. Politically, it's pretty balanced here. Upstate New York as a whole is typically more conservative, but Albany, Troy, and Schenectady, especially within the metropolitan areas, are more liberal. The rural areas are definitely more conservative, so it's kind of a mixed bag, which I don't mind. You get a lot of diversity of thought, but it's not a huge culture war. As a whole, New York State is definitely more progressive, so the state laws definitely reflect that. Oh, this coffee's so good. The job market is like okay. If you're in Albany, you'll notice there are a ton of state workers because for some reason, this is the state capital of New York. There are some big employers in the area like Regeneron and Global Foundries, plus a bunch of hospitals and universities. There's actually a pretty high concentration of colleges and universities here, but outside of that, opportunities can be somewhat limited unless you're in some sort of a specialized field or work remote. Average salaries are not mind-blowing, but the low cost of living kind of helps make up for that, I guess. Albany Airport is teeny tiny. I mean, there's not like one little plane or whatever, but it's a pretty small airport. And so flights can be a little more expensive because you'll probably have to get a connection depending on where you're going. That being said, it is super easy to fly out of. There's almost never traffic. You go through security pretty quick. Baggage claim comes out super quick. They're expanding it right now, so fingers crossed it gets a little bit better. I think they're having more and more direct flights, but yeah, it is a pretty small airport, even if most of upstate New York and even some of like Vermont and Western Massachusetts, this is the main airport to use. But yeah, do not expect to fly direct to like Tokyo from here. It's not gonna happen. Let's talk taxes. New York State has really bad taxes. The property taxes, I think, are the highest in the whole country. So it's kind of nuts. Like even if your mortgage is low, those can kind of sneak up on you. The state income tax is pretty high too. So is upstate New York perfect? No, but nowhere is. You deal with the cold, some iffy infrastructure, but in exchange you get beautiful nature, affordability, great people, and some actual breathing room. If you want to grind in a big city and spend $3,000 a month on rent, go for it. But if you're looking for something quieter, a little greener, where you can actually save some money, then upstate might surprise you. Nobody wants to live in upstate New York. Cool, more room for me.